So good morning. Today our topic is about how the what is the dynamic behavior of first order systems. Okay. So the content what you're going to see that. So in order to define the dynamic response of first or second order system, the first thing we have to know what is standard process input. What about the process of first order system? What about the response of integrating process? And what about the response of second order system? Okay. So this is the thing which you are going to learn over now. So when you are having two categories, when the inputs which can be manipulated, that is to control the process. So that are not manipulated, which is classified as a disturbance or load variables. Okay. So this is the dynamic behavior of a first order system. So next, when you are saying over on it, so we are having a standard process input. So actually, totally we have a six standard inputs. One to be the step input. Step input in the sense that is for t greater than or equivalent to zero. That is a t greater than or equal to zero. The value will be equivalent to uh, sorry, t greater than or equal to 0, the value will be equivalent to 1 if you are defining unit step input, or if you are defining any amplitude of a m. So it is defining the value when t is greater than or equal to 0, the value will be equivalent to m. So when we are saying up over it, so we have to take the Laplace transform of the input. So Laplace transform of 1 is nothing but an 1 by s. So here I have used the notation m. So we'll get the value of an m by s. The diagram that is the shows about the step input diagram. See over it, time versus the amplitude. If the time greater than equivalent to 0, time is greater than equal to 0, the value will be equivalent to 1. Okay. The next input what we are showing up over here, it is to be the ramp input. So when we are saying about a ramp input, similarly when t is less than 0, the value will be equivalent to 0. And when t is greater than or equal to 0, the value will be equivalent to 8t. That is the amplitude. That is when t is equivalent to 1, the amplitude will be equivalent to 1. When t is equivalent to 2, the amplitude will be equivalent to 2. 3, 3. So multiplication of the amplitude, what we are going over on it. Okay. So similarly, we can able to find out the slope value with nothing but the value of an a, the difference between the two values. So similarly, when we are finding the Laplace transform of t, we know that it is equivalent to 1 by s square. The third thing input to be the rectangular pulse. So we know that rectangular, which is spin on and off period, there is the when t is less than 0, the value will be equivalent to 0. Similarly, for higher greater than the value, that is for the particular after the particular bit, again the value will be equivalent to 0. So we will be getting the amplitude, that is the when the value lies from between 0 to t, that is the TW width value, the value which is lies is equivalent to the value of an H. So in the rectangular pulse, so the when you're taking a Laplace transform by using all these expressions, so we will be taking of an h of s of t minus s of t minus tw, where s of t is the unit step function. So we'll have a h by s of 1 minus exponential of r minus tws. So the next thing we'll be having about a sinusoidal input. So sinusoidal input, when t is less than 0, the value will be equivalent to 0. Similarly, for when t is greater than or equal to 0, we have the equations of an a sine omega t. We'll have the equations of an a sine omega t. So, even when, so x of s is equivalent to, so when you are having a sine value, so we have to replace that, so Laplace transform, we'll have it, we have this notice notated as an a omega divided by s square plus omega square. So the impulse input, so we have to take down the impulse input, so we it be notice notation del of t, so del of t, that is when t is 0, only at the period of 0, the value will be equivalent to 1. So it has the simplest Laplace transform, but it is not a realistic input signal. So because to obtain an impulse input, it is necessary to inject amount of energy or material into a process in an infinite length of time. Okay. So when in a case of random input, so many process inputs change with time in such a complex manner that it is not possible to describe them as a deterministic functions of time. So similarly, if an input exhibits apparently random fluctuations, it is convenient to characteristics treated in statistical terms. So what is the response of first order systems? So we'll have a general first order transfer function. So y of s divided by x of s is equivalent to k divided by tau s plus 1, where k is the process gain and tau is the time constant. So while you are finding y of s and y of t, So we have to find out the step response of x of s is equivalent to n by s, because we'll be considering the input to be as an unit step response. So we know that x of s equivalent to m by s. So y of s equivalent to x of s into that value. So k into m divided by s into tau s plus 1. So we have to take a partial fraction a by s plus b by tau s plus 1. We have to find out the value of a and b. After simplification, we'll be getting the final expression of 1 minus exponential of minus t by tau. So when you are saying up over on it, so this will be going up with the zeros to the pi value. So constantly we'll be increasing. So with respect to the value, step response. The next one, response of a first order system. So by obtaining the value, the zero when the value of tau t is zero, similarly the y of t is equal to zero. When t is tau, the value is equivalent to 0.6321. When it is t2 tau, 0.8647. When it is 3 tau, the value will is equivalent to 0.9502. When it is 4 tau, 0.9817, and 5 tau, 0.9933. So the first order system does not respond instantaneously to a sudden change in its input, and that after a time interval equal to the process time constant. So the process response is still only 63.2 percentage to complete. Theoretically, the process output never reaches the new steady state value. It was approximately the new value when t equals 3 to 5 process time constant. The next response, what we have to see about it, ramp response. So ramp, we know that x of t is equivalent to at. So when you're taking Laplace transform, it is equivalent to a divided by s squared. So y of s is equivalent to ka divided by s squared into tau s plus 1. So ka into tau squared divided by tau s plus 1 minus ka tau by s plus ka by s squared. Y of t is equivalent to ka of tau of exponential of minus t by tau minus 1 plus k of t. So after an initial transient period, the ramp input yields a ramp output with a slope equal to Ka, but shifted in time at the process time constant to be the tau 1. So sinusoidal response, so we have x of s is equivalent to a omega divided by s square plus omega squared. So y of s is equivalent to k into a omega. So s squared plus omega squared of tau s plus 1. So replace the value, take the partial expression and simplify the expression. So by trigonometric identities, we can able to identify the final expression to be Ka omega tau divided by omega square tau square plus 1 exponential of minus t by tau plus Ka by omega square tau square plus 1 sine of omega t plus phi, where phi is equivalent to tan inverse of omega tau. For trigonometric identities, we have a sine theta plus b cos theta, which is equivalent to root of a square plus b squared sine of theta plus phi. So where phi is equivalent to tan inverse of b by a. The next thing, the exponential term goes to 0 when t is equivalent to infinity. So which will be leaving a pure sinusoidal response. So we'll have a frequency response that has to be not, it is not necessary over here. So since the omega squared, root of omega squared tau squared plus 1, which is less than 1, the amplitude is less than output Ka for the input A. So we'll have an amplitude attenuation. So this process will be going up over on it. So what is an integrating process? The process which has integrating unit in its transfer function. So it is an open loop unstable process, a process that cannot reach a new steady state value when subjected to step changes in inputs is called open loop unstable process or non-self-regulating process. Now we have to find out which process is an integrating process. That is a liquid level system with a pump or with a valve. Okay. So integrating, what we are saying, that is a process which cannot reach a new steady state. Okay. That is to be the unstable or a self-regulating process. So the answer is to be that the flow rate of the effluent stream, which increases automatically if the level increases. Therefore, the influent flow rate is increased, then the level will increase, and the effluent flow rate is also increased up to the influent flow rate. So the level will converge. So the liquid level system with a valve is a stable one process. But in regardless of the level, the effluent flow rate is constant due to the pump. So if the influent flow rate is bigger than the effluent stream, the level always increase, vice versa. That is the difference between the influent flow rate and the effluent flow rate is integrated to the process output. The liquid level system with a pump is the unstable one or the regulating process. For example, we will be having a of dh by dt, which is equivalent to qi minus q, and q is independent of h, and a sh of s is equivalent to qi of s minus q of s, where h of s equivalent to 1 by a. So 1 by s of qi of s minus 1 by a of 1 by s of q of s, integrating process. So what we can say that now, the liquid level system with the pump is to be defined as an integrating process. The next thing, we have to define the response of second order system. So a second order transfer function which can arise physically. So two first order response are connected in series or to be termed as a second order system. So y of s divided by x of s, which is equivalent to k1 k2 by tau 1 s plus 1 plus of tau 2 s plus 1, which is equivalent to k of k divided by tau 1 s plus 1 of tau 2 s plus 1. So the two first order system which is in series. So second order differential equation process model is a transformed one. So standard form of second order transfer function. So g of s is equivalent to k divided by tau squared s squared plus 2 tau s. So where k is the process gain, tau is the time constant, that is small tau, which determines the speed of response of the system, where capital tau is the damping factor, which provides a measure of the amount of damping in the system. That is the degree of oscillation in the process response after perturbations. So three important subcases, we have a denominator tau squared s squared plus 2 tau s plus 1. So the best, so we have to simplify this expression and we will be finding the roots. So while analyzing the three forms of second order system, we have three different cases A, B and C. If tau is greater than 1, we will be considering the characterization of response to be overdamped system and the roots to be real and unequal. Similarly, for the case of B, where the tau is equivalent to 1, we'll have a critically damped system and we'll have the roots to be real and equal. Similarly, when you're having a C, the values lies between the 0 to 1. We'll have an underdamped system and we'll have a complex conjugates of the form of A plus IB and A minus IB. When tau is less than 0, so we'll have an unstable second order system that would have an unbounded response to any input. So step response, so x of s is equivalent to m by s. So y of s is equivalent to km by tau squared s squared plus 2 tau omega s plus 1. So tau is greater than 1, the roots are real and distinct, so we'll have a overdamped system. When tau is equivalent to 1, we'll have a double root, we'll have a critically damped system. When 0 to less than tau is less than 1, we'll have a complex root, which is to be an underdamped system. So all these expressions which shows the final values of a real and distinct value, complex root and the double root. So remarks, what we can say that now, that is the responses will exhibit oscillation and overshoots, which is obtained only for the values of tau less than 1. Large yield of values of tau, which says that which yield a sluggish response. The faster response without overshoot is obtained for critically damped case. The next last topic in the unit is about the performance measures. So we'll have a performance measures or to be the six factors, one to be the rise time, another one to be the time to first peak, third one to be the settling time, fourth one to be the overshoot, and fifth one to be the decay ratio, and sixth one to be the period of oscillations. So when we are having a rise time, it is the time the process output takes to first reach the new steady state value. Second one, time to first peak. It is the time required for the output to reach its first maximum value. Settling time, it is defined as the time required for the process output to reach and remain inside a band whose width is equal to plus or minus 5% of the total change in width. So whereas in the case of an overshoot, OS equivalents to A by B and a decay ratio which is equivalent to C by A, whereas the period of oscillation is the time between two successive peaks or two successive values of the response. So decay ratio, that is a decay ratio is to be the OS of squared. So exponential of minus 2 tau by tau. So period of oscillations 2 tau by pi divided by root of 1 minus tau squared. So this graph shows the relationship between some performance characteristics of an underdamped system or second order process and the process damping coefficient. Similarly, when we are analyzing for the sinusoidal response, so we'll have a different combinations of A1, alpha 1, alpha 2, and alpha 3. That is when t tends to infinity, the first and second terms will get vanished. So finally, we'll get the expression only in terms of an Ka by of root of 1 minus omega tau square plus 2 tau omega the whole square of sine of omega t plus tau. Where pi is equivalent to minus tan inverse of 2 tau omega pi of 1 minus omega tau square. So amplitude ratio, so we'll have a k of this value and normalized amplitude ratio, we'll have that value. So the maximum value of AR can be found by differentiating with respect to omega. So we'll have a thing for tau is 0 less than 1, there is no maximum value. At high frequency, the output is well damped. At low frequency, the output is not a damped value. So by that, the third unit gets over. So the remaining thing that we can see in the next class. Okay. So